Our next guest comes from a long line of incredible entertainers. One of his grandfathers wrote some of music's biggest hit. His name was Gus Kahn, and his other grandfather was Groucho Marx. Andy Marx is now sharing his story in a new book called Royalties. Please welcome Andy Marx. Good morning. I'm so delighted to meet you. I tell you something.
Thank you.
You're just kind of a one-man band yourself. You're a writer, you're a photographer, you're a journalist, you do everything. You've got films in production that are going to happen with Disney and CBS. And now you've come out with a novel. And I would think, having the remarkable families, you would be doing a memoir.
Yeah, that's a question that I get asked sometimes. I've never sort of, there's a couple of reasons why I didn't write a memoir. I mean, the first reason is that I once had a writing teacher who said, write the book that you want to read. And so this was the kind of book that I wanted to read. The second reason is I've never been a huge fan of the books that are written by a relative of somebody famous, who don't really, who I sometimes feel don't really have that much interesting going on about themselves, but they write a book because they're related to somebody. And I really just kind of never wanted to do that type of book.
It makes sense.
Don't hold me to that, though.
No, but it does make sense because, but I'm wondering if in the book Royalties, which is a novel, are you kind of falling on some of those histories within your own family with your having a grandfather like Groucho Marx was, it just seems like that would be wonderful. Were there some times with him that weren't wonderful, like in any family?
I have to pretty much say not really. I mean, he was, again, being the grandson is different than being the son. And, my father, I mean, when you talk about memoirs, my father wrote a number of books about his relationship with Groucho. And again, it was much more contentious because that was the father-son thing. I'm the grandson, it's removed one. And he was pretty much just grandfatherly to me, though, most of my life.
Well, it's so interesting.
Pretty much what I remember.
It's so interesting, Andy, because in most families, the grandkids always say, "My dad always said he was better to you than to me." So that may be true in almost every case. We're excited about the book.
There's the joke about that the grandkids and the grandparents have the common enemy, which is the parents. That's the old joke. So.
It is true. But I'll tell you something. I don't know, when you start to write a book like Royalties, I'm thinking it's about making money off of recordings and things like that. Or is it about being in a royal family?
Well, it's one of those titles. It has a double meaning to it because much of the book takes place, one of the characters is a songwriter. So, much of the book takes place in the music, in the early days of the music industry. So it was kind of one of those titles that just sort of worked well. And I like the, and I've always liked those one-word titles for books.
I do too, and I love the fact that it's written about songwriting because your maternal grandfather was an amazing man that wrote some of the best music in the world.
Yeah, I've always said, he wrote Makin' Whoopee and It Had to Be You, among many, but I've always said if those were the only two that you wrote and you just gave up after that,
that's right.
That would be a nice career. But he went on to write Dream a Little Dream of Me, I'll See You in My Dreams, Yes Sir, That's My Baby, Pretty Baby, My Butt.
Oh my gosh.
The list is unbelievable. And they still get recorded today. I mean, it's amazing.
Yes, they do. And so many people like me sing the words and remember the words. That's how great the music is. We look forward to your book, Andy. And when you are ever in Dallas, Texas, you come in here and we'd like to have more time with you. I know this is a short interview.
I would love that.
Yeah, you're a pretty terrific guy. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much. And I like Dallas. So I will see you one of these days.
Okay.
Thank you.
Andy's book, Royalties, will be out later this year. And up next, it's the Texas band Dovetail. Their flair for songwriting and spot-on harmony will leave you wanting more. We're back with another special performance in the Troubadour Texas Listening Room, so stay tuned.